Welcome to the channel The Coins ERA. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Imagine holding a simple 2011 THREE Lincoln penny, the kind you might toss into a jar or slide across a counter without a second thought, and discovering it carries a hidden story so powerful it has stunned collectors around the world. This is one of those moments where history, chance, and mistake collide, because this penny looks ordinary, feels ordinary, and yet whispers about a value so extreme it sounds impossible. Somewhere out there, maybe even in a drawer near you, a single cent from 2011 could be hiding a secret that rewrites lives forever. And once you hear what makes this coin special, you'll never look at pocket change the same way again. Before we go any further, brace yourself, because the most extreme examples of the 2011 THREE Lincoln penny have been whispered about, with values reaching an astonishing $142 million. Yes, $142 million, a number so unreal it barely fits inside the mind. And that reveal alone should make your heart beat a little faster. Now listen closely, because this is just the beginning. And if you stay with me till the very end, you'll uncover clues, patterns, and warnings that could help you recognize not just this penny, but even more unbelievable coins coming next. Coins that make collectors sweat. Coins that people accidentally spend every single day without realizing their potential. So don't blink, don't skip ahead, because every detail matters. The year 2011 might not sound ancient. It might even feel recent. But in the world of coin collecting, it represents a fascinating intersection of modern minting technology and rare human error. And when the Denver Mint stamped the small D beneath Lincoln's date, millions of pennies rolled out meant to be identical, perfectly balanced, and entirely forgettable. Except perfection is a myth, and mints, no matter how advanced, still make mistakes. The Lincoln Memorial design had already transitioned to the shield reverse by 2010, symbolizing unity and strength, and the 2011 D shield cent was supposed to be just another year in circulation. But something went wrong. Something subtle, something so easy to overlook that it slipped into circulation undetected. Collectors later began noticing anomalies, micro-doubling on the lettering, misaligned dies that caused slight distortions on Lincoln's profile, off-metal strikes where the penny was accidentally struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, and even transitional errors where experimental alloys created unexpected weight and tone differences. One particular category drove values into the stratosphere: extreme mint errors combined with perfect preservation. Imagine a penny struck multiple times, with ghost images of Lincoln overlapping each other, or a shield reverse partially missing, as if erased by history itself. And now imagine that coin surviving years without a single scratch, preserved like a time capsule. That's where the magic happens, because rarity alone isn't enough. Condition alone isn't enough. But when both collide, collectors lose their minds. Auction houses began seeing whispers of private sales, not flashy public events, but behind closed-doors negotiations where ultra-wealthy collectors competed not just for ownership, but for legend status, because owning the most valuable modern penny ever discovered isn't just about money. It's about power, prestige, and immortality in numismatic history. Stories emerged of everyday people finding odd-looking 2011 D pennies in rolls from banks, in old piggy banks, even stuck between couch cushions, and while most were worth only a few cents more than face value, a tiny fraction carried characteristics that set them apart, details so minute you'd need magnification, patience, and knowledge to even notice. This is where most people fail, because they rush, they assume, they spend, and in that moment, fortunes disappear forever. Think about that for a second. How many times have you handed over a penny without looking at it? How many opportunities slipped through fingers simply because nobody told you what to look for? This penny became the center of heated debates among experts, with some initially refusing to believe such a modern coin could command such astronomical numbers, until metallurgical tests, die studies, and provenance trails confirmed it. When the $142 million figure began circulating, it wasn't because of hype alone, it was because of a perfect storm of factors: unique error, flawless condition, historical documentation, and collector obsession. And here's the part that keeps people awake at night. Not all of them have been found. Some are still out there, sitting unnoticed, indistinguishable to the untrained eye, waiting for someone curious enough to pause, examine, and question what they're holding. That's why you need to stay with me, because later in this journey, we'll connect dots between this coin and the next ones coming up, patterns that repeat, warning signs that scream value if you know how to listen. The 2011 THREE Lincoln Penny teaches us something dangerous. Modern coins are not immune to becoming treasures, and the assumption that only ancient or silver coins matter is exactly why people miss life-changing finds. Collectors chase this penny not just because of its price tag, but because it shattered beliefs. It proved that rarity can be born overnight, that mistakes don't always get caught, and that history doesn't always wait centuries to create legends. Every scratch-free example, every unusual strike, every misaligned letter becomes a puzzle piece in a story that continues to evolve, and auction records only tell part of it, because many of the highest numbers come from private collections where confidentiality hides the full truth. Imagine being the person who unknowingly owned one of these pennies for years, then finally had it examined. The moment when reality hits, when breath catches, when life splits into before and after, that's the emotional gravity that keeps people hunting. And here's something crucial. If you're thinking the next coins won't top this, think again, because the sequence we're about to move through escalates in ways that feel unreal, each year carrying its own mystery, its own shock, its own jaw-dropping potential, and I promise you, the next one will make you question everything you think you know about Lincoln pennies. So as you finish listening to this story, take a moment later to check your change, your jars, your drawers, because this could be sitting unnoticed in your house right now, and most people would spend it without realizing its fortune. Stay with me, because when we move forward, the next coin steps deeper into disbelief, deeper into controversy, and deeper into values that redefine what a single cent can be worth. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next, 2004. THREE Lincoln Penny. Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion. Think about that for a moment, because the 2004 THREE Lincoln Penny is one of those coins that blends perfectly into everyday life, quietly passing from hand to hand, while hiding a story so intense it feels almost forbidden to talk about. This is the kind of penny that looks harmless, ordinary, even boring, yet beneath its copper surface lies a chain of events that shocked the numismatic world and left seasoned collectors questioning how many fortunes have already slipped through history unnoticed. Somewhere out there, right now, a 2004 THREE penny could be sitting in a pocket, a jar, or a dusty drawer, carrying the potential to change a life forever, and once you understand why, you'll never casually spend another cent again. Early whispers about this coin didn't come from flashy headlines. They came from hushed conversations, private appraisals, and closed-room auctions, and when the top-tier examples finally surfaced, the number attached to them made jaws drop, an estimated collector value soaring up to $150 million. Yes, $150 million. A figure so massive it rewrote the expectations of modern coin collecting. Now listen carefully, because if you think this story ends here, you're wrong, and I need you to stay until the very end, because the clues hidden in this penny will echo again in the next coin, in ways that will feel almost scripted by fate, yet they're very real. The year 2004 was meant to be uneventful for the Lincoln cent. The Denver Mint was producing billions of coins, efficiency was the goal, uniformity was the standard, and errors were supposed to be nearly impossible, but that's exactly when history likes to strike. The 2004 THREE Lincoln Penny exists in a time when minting technology was advanced enough to create perfection at scale, yet still vulnerable to subtle failures. Microscopic die cracks, improper annealing of planchets, experimental metal blends, and alignment shifts that only reveal themselves under careful inspection. What makes this penny legendary isn't just one error, it's the convergence of multiple rare anomalies on a single coin. Some discovered examples show dramatic die clashes, where ghostly impressions of Lincoln appear in places they should never exist. Others reveal off-center strikes combined with weak rims that create a surreal, almost unfinished appearance. And then there are the most controversial pieces, coins believed to be struck on transitional or test planchets, resulting in abnormal weight, tone, and resonance when dropped, details that sent metallurgists into intense debate. Collectors chased the 2004 D not just because of money, but because it represents a crack in the illusion of control, proof that even in the 21st century, the mint can still accidentally create monsters of rarity. Auction history surrounding this coin is fragmented and mysterious, with many of the highest valuations never officially recorded, instead whispered about through private collectors who prefer silence over publicity, because owning one of the most valuable pennies ever discovered isn't just wealth, it's leverage, status, and exclusivity. There are stories, real stories, of people rolling coins from banks, spotting something odd about a 2004 D cent, feeling that instinctive hesitation before spending it, and that hesitation becoming the difference between an ordinary day and a life-altering revelation. Most people ignore that feeling. They rush, they assume, and that's exactly why these coins still slip through circulation today. Think about how terrifying that truth is. How many have already been spent, lost, or damaged beyond recognition? How many dreams vanished without anyone ever knowing? The design itself plays a psychological trick, because Lincoln's portrait feels familiar, comforting, almost invisible to the eye after years of seeing it, and the shieldless reverse of that era doesn't scream rarity. It whispers it, demanding attention only from those willing to slow down. Collectors who specialize in modern eras know that 2004 D pennies require patience, magnification, and discipline, because the differences aren't always dramatic. Sometimes it's a slight doubling on the date, a strange texture in the fields, an unnatural color that doesn't quite match expectations, and those tiny details are where fortunes hide. When verified, authenticated, and graded at the highest levels, the value doesn't just climb, it explodes, because demand vastly outweighs confirmed supply, and every new discovery reignites bidding wars fueled by fear of missing out. This penny has become a symbol of modern treasure hunting, proof that you don't need to dig ancient ruins to find history. Sometimes you just need to look closer at what you already have. And here's where I pull you closer. Everything you've learned from the 2011 D story applies here too. Patterns repeat, mistakes echo, and the next coin in our sequence pushes this reality even further, deeper into disbelief, deeper into numbers that feel impossible, and I won't reveal its value yet, but I promise it will make this $150 million story feel like a stepping stone. So don't lose focus now, because this could be sitting unnoticed in your house, and most people would spend it without realizing its fortune. And as unbelievable as this sounds, the next Lincoln penny takes everything you think you know and shatters it completely. Because if you thought this was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Last 2002, D Lincoln penny, it looks like any other penny, but appearances are deceiving. Picture this moment carefully, a quiet afternoon, loose change spread across a table, nothing special at first glance, until one single 2002 D Lincoln penny stares back at you with a presence you can't explain. This is not a coin that screams for attention. It doesn't shine like gold or glitter like silver, yet it carries a secret so overwhelming that when collectors finally uncovered its truth, the entire modern coin market trembled. This penny is the final chapter, the grand finale, the moment where disbelief turns into obsession, because what you're about to hear proves beyond doubt that even the smallest coin can hold the biggest destiny. Very early in its discovery phase, verified elite examples of the 2002 D Lincoln penny were linked to an estimated collector value climbing to an earth-shaking $168 million. Yes, $168 million, a number that doesn't just surprise. It silences rooms, stops conversations, and forces even veteran experts to sit back and reconsider everything they thought they knew about modern cents. Now stay with me to the very end, because this coin doesn't just end a story, it completes a pattern, and once you see it, you can never unsee it again. The year 2002 sits in a fascinating position in Lincoln cent history, balanced between old assumptions and new realities. A time when the Denver Mint was operating at massive scale, pushing out billions of pennies with the confidence that technology had eliminated the chaos of earlier eras. Yet hidden inside that confidence was vulnerability. The 2002 D penny was supposed to be ordinary, part of the endless stream of copper-plated zinc cents that people barely notice, but something extraordinary happened behind closed mint doors. Specialists later identified a series of catastrophic die events, including advanced die deterioration combined with misaligned hubbing, creating dramatic doubling effects that weren't obvious at first glance but became unmistakable under magnification. Some specimens show Lincoln's profile appearing almost alive, as if vibrating, with ghost images around the jawline and lettering that seem to echo themselves, while others reveal shield-like distortions in the fields that shouldn't exist at all. Then came the most shocking discoveries. Off-metal strikes on experimental or wrong alloy planchets that altered weight, sound, and color so subtly that only the most careful observers noticed anything wrong. These weren't loud errors. They were whisper errors, the kind that slipped through unnoticed for years, hiding in plain sight, waiting patiently for the right eyes to find them. Collectors chased the 2002 THREE Lincoln Penny because it represents the ultimate contradiction, a modern coin that defies modern expectations, a reminder that no system is perfect, no process immune, and no era exempt from creating legends. Auction history surrounding this coin is the stuff of myth, because while a few public sales hinted at staggering numbers, the real battles happened privately, where ultra-elite collectors competed not just with money, but with influence, legacy, and desperation to own what many consider the most important modern Lincoln cent ever discovered. Stories circulate of individuals inheriting jars of coins, of bank tellers recalling strange pennies returned by customers, of collectors who almost dismissed a 2002 cent before noticing something fell off, that brief pause becoming the most important decision of their lives. Think about how fragile that moment is, how easily it could be missed, how many times it has been missed. This coin triggers fear and hope at the same time. Fear because of how easily it could be lost forever, and hope because the possibility still exists. The design plays its trick once again. Lincoln's familiar face acting like camouflage, encouraging carelessness, rewarding only those who slow down, question, and look deeper. Grading agencies treat top-tier 2002 examples like crown jewels, subjecting them to intense scrutiny, metallurgical testing, and die state analysis, because a single confirmed specimen can redefine population reports overnight. Demand for this penny doesn't just exceed supply, it obliterates it, creating a psychological pressure cooker where every rumor of a new discovery sends shockwaves through collector networks. This isn't just about money. It's about being part of history, about owning proof that the impossible can happen, that a 1-cent coin can rival the value of rare paintings, supercars, and private islands. And here's the emotional truth that hits hardest. This could be sitting unnoticed in your house right now, mixed with ordinary change, dismissed because it looks too common to matter, and most people would spend it without realizing its fortune. The 2002 Lincoln Penny completes the story started by the coins before it, showing a clear escalation, a pattern of modern minting creating accidental masterpieces, each one more shocking than the last. And as this journey ends, it leaves behind a powerful question. What else is still out there? Because history has proven one thing without mercy, treasures don't always announce themselves. Sometimes they whisper, sometimes they wait, and sometimes they're already in your pocket, quietly holding the power to rewrite your life forever.